Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a tool that I'm using that's helping me a lot in my foot restoration process. If you haven't seen my video about how much I love feet, called I Love Feet, I'm going to put a link down below. But I'm a big fan of the barefoot shoe movement. When I first transitioned to barefoot shoes, I started in 2012. It took me about 2 to 3 years to fully transition, so I've been about 3 years of wearing exclusively barefoot minimalist footwear. But it wasn't until about a year ago that I really came to understand this critical element of minimalist footwear that I was still lacking, which is the width of the toe box. So when you walk, your toes should spread. This is called toe splay. Most of us, we've been wearing shoes our whole lives that actually have bound our feet. I was reading this article the other day that was comparing this to Chinese foot binding. If you've ever heard of Chinese foot binding, back in the day there was this really brutal thing they used to do to women's feet where they would bind them really tightly as children and break the bones and keep their feet from growing for aesthetic purposes. This was a really disgusting thing. It caused serious damage and some people even died from it. So obviously this article felt a little bit like clickbait to me. It's sort of extreme to compare what we're doing today to that, but in some sense I really got what they meant. Like, we are wearing these shoes that are so tight and confining and they're shaped like triangles that it's damaging the shape of our feet. This is where bunions come from. This is where a lot of our foot issues come from, is the narrowness of the shoes. And I was buying mainstream, large shoe company minimalist footwear, mostly Merrell's. And I thought I was doing great. It had no arch, it had a flexible sole, it didn't have any heel raise, any heel lift, it was zero dropped. But I came to understand that it really wasn't wide enough. It wasn't wide enough. My feet were still being cramped into this narrow shoe. And I've learned about that from the work of a podiatrist named Dr. McClanahan. Dr. McClanahan runs a podiatry center in Washington State called Northwest Foot and Ankle. I'll put a link down below to his website. And he invented something called correct toes. And correct toes are really incredible. They're just these little synthetic, what is it called? Rubbery material. There's a name for it. I don't remember what it's called. But this is rubbery material, and it's designed to go on your feet. And it just spreads your toes. Just spreads your toes. Puts them in the natural foot alignment. And there's lots of tools that are used to spread your toes. If you're on this path of restoring your feet, then I'm sure you've seen many products out there. What's unique about this product is that it allows you to put the toes in neutral position. It doesn't overextend them, doesn't overspread them. Puts them in a neutral position and then allows you to put weight on your foot. It's flat, right? It's flat. So you can wear this and do everyday functions on your feet. So it's both a stretching and a strengthening exercise at the same time. And I've noticed that this has been really beneficial for me. Now, what they talk about with this product is you're supposed to wear it inside your shoes. The problem is I have yet to be able to find any minimalist footwear where I can wear this inside the shoes, where it's actually wide enough. So even within these boutique companies, these smaller companies that are doing a better job at making true minimalist barefoot shoes than the big companies like Merrell or Nike or New Balance, even those companies, Vivo Barefoot, Lems are the two that I have most experience with, I've yet to find anything that I can wear correct toes with. So I'm just wearing these around the house at this time. And even with just wearing around the house, I'm noticing major improvements. And it's really exciting to watch my toes just spread back out into their natural position. And this is going to take several years. It's going to take several years. And eventually I'm going to have to find shoes that allow me to wear these while walking, while doing everyday activities. But I'm starting slow. And I'm going to continue to document this progress. I'm going to start taking photos. Over the next couple of years, I'll be sharing the progress that comes with that. And so, yeah, these are correct toes. I'm not in any way endorsed by the company. I'm not paid by them. This is just a product I'm using that I'm really excited about. and I really am just excited about feet. I know, it's weird, but I love feet. I think the human foot is just one of the most beautiful, incredible parts of the human body, and I think it's so sad that we are just ignorant. We are just going through the motions as a culture, putting our feet into these fashionable shoes and causing harm to our bodies as a result of it. Thankfully, most of that can be reversed, and this is a tool that if you're serious about restoring your feet, if you're serious about natural health, if you're serious about having a pain-free life, if you're serious about natural movement, if you're serious about the health of your musculoskeletal system, you gotta get these. You gotta get these. You gotta try them. They're awesome. I think they're like 60 bucks. And they have all kinds of ways you can customize them. They got little places where you can put in spacers to make them a little bit wider. They have all kinds of methods you can use to cut it, to customize it. If you got webbed feet or you got a hammer toes or whatever. If you can see, I cut off the ends here. They used to be a bit longer. And that was because they kept falling off. They kept coming out from between my toes. And that seemed to have solved the problem. So I'm going to check back in about this in the future. I'm going to be documenting my foot restoration process on this channel. And if you've had any positive experiences with barefoot shoes or correct toes, please share below. Thanks. See you tomorrow.